In 2026, the humble can of tomato paste has become a focal point for food safety advocates and culinary purists alike. While it is a pantry staple for building depth in sauces and stews, recent 2026 laboratory audits and international food fraud reports have revealed that not all pastes are created equal. The primary concerns in 2026 center around heavy metal bioaccumulation, specifically lead and cadmium, the use of industrial thickeners like modified cornstarch, and the presence of PFAS, forever chemicals, in can linings. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Here are 8 tomato paste brands and categories to avoid at all costs in 2026. 1. First and last, specialty line. The verdict. In late 2025 and moving into 2026, First and Last Bakery LLC issued a high-priority recall for its tomato-based products, including its concentrated bases. The USDA and FDA flagged these products for a Clostridium botulinum hazard. The company was found to be manufacturing without an approved schedule, meaning the thermal processing wasn't verified to kill the spores that cause botulism, a potentially fatal form of food poisoning. For 2026, this brand is a strict avoid until they can prove their canning facilities meet federal safety standards. Botulism in high-acid foods like tomatoes is rare, making this a significant red flag for 2026 quality control. 2. Hunt's Standard 6-ounce can. The verdict. Hunt's remains one of the most popular budget brands, but in 2026, it is frequently criticized for its metallic profile. Independent taste tests in early 2026 consistently rank Hunt's low due to a persistent tinny aftertaste that leaches from the can into the paste. Furthermore, Hunt's uses citric acid as a stabilizer. While safe, culinary experts in 2026 point out that high-quality tomatoes shouldn't need pH adjustment. Its presence often indicates the use of lower-quality, less acidic fruit. For those looking to avoid a chemical tang in their bolognese, Hunt's is a brand to skip in favor of glass-packaged alternatives. 3. Great Value, Walmart brand. The verdict. Walmart's Great Value tomato paste is on the 2026 avoid list primarily due to textural dilution. 2026 consumer reports have noted a higher juice-to-solid ratio compared to premium brands. This means you are paying for water weight rather than pure tomato solids. In the 2026 economy, where value is measured by density, Great Value fails the spoon test. It often lacks the deep, brick-red thickness required for a proper sauté. Additionally, its sourcing remains opaque, raising concerns among those who prefer to avoid the high pesticide residues often found in large-scale, non-organic monocrop tomato farming. 4. Rotel, Diced and Paste Blends. The verdict. While famous for its spice, Rotel is flagged in 2026 for its sodium overload. A single serving can deliver nearly 400 milligrams of sodium, which is significantly higher than the 2026 FDA healthy threshold for tomato products. Beyond the salt, Rotel frequently includes natural flavors and calcium chloride to maintain firmness. In 2026, natural flavors is often a catch-all term for laboratory-derived additives that mask the lack of real tomato depth. If you want the heat, 2026 nutritionists recommend using pure paste and adding your own fresh chiles rather than relying on this additive-heavy shortcut. 5. Contadina, Conventional. The verdict. Contadina has been a kitchen staple for a century, but in 2026, it is under fire for unnatural sweetness. Despite claiming to use only Roma tomatoes, 2026 palate audits suggest a flavor profile that is far sweeter than a natural reduction should be. This often requires the home cook to add excessive salt to balance the dish. More importantly, Contadina has faced 2026 criticism for its pulp-to-skin ratio. Users report finding fragments of bitter skins and seeds in the paste, indicating a less rigorous refining process compared to competitors like Moody or Cento. 6. Generic imported product of China pastes. The verdict. In 2026, food fraud reports from Ghana and Lebanon have spilled over into the U.S. market, specifically targeting unbranded, bulk imported tomato paste from large industrial exporters. These products have been caught using starch and red dyes, erythrocene, to mimic the color and thickness of real tomato concentrate. Erythrocene has been linked to thyroid dysfunction in 2026 studies. If the label is vague about the country of origin or simply says distributed by, avoid it. The risk of consuming undeclared thickeners or toxic synthetic dyes is too high in these budget line imports. 7. Goya conventional cans. The verdict: Goya's tomato paste is a 2026 avoid for those concerned with BPA and PFAS. While many brands have transitioned to BPA-free linings, 2026 environmental audits show that some Goya canning lines still use older, epoxy-based resins that can leach endocrine disruptors into the highly acidic tomato paste. Because tomato paste is often simmered for hours, any chemicals leached from the can are concentrated in your final sauce. For 2026 safety, if the can does not explicitly state BPA-free and PFAS-free, it is best to leave it on the shelf. 8. 365 Whole Foods conventional can, not organic. The verdict: even at Whole Foods, the 2026 avoid list includes their conventional, non-organic house brand. 2026 Forever Chemical testing by groups like Mammovation found that some organic and premium brands, surprisingly, showed higher markers of PFAS, organic fluorine, than their cheap counterparts, likely from the water used in processing or the packaging. For the 365 brand, the 2026 warning is about lack of concentration. It lacks the double concentrated richness of Italian imports, meaning you have to use twice as much to get the same flavor, making it a poor value despite the clean store image. The 2026 tomato paste crisis is a lesson in density and purity. As we've seen with the botulism recall of First and Last and the metal-heavy profile of Hunt's, the cheapest option is often the most chemically expensive in the long run. The 2026 mandate for the healthy kitchen is to move away from metal cans entirely. Choosing glass jars or BPA-free tubes, specifically those labeled Doppio Concentrato, double concentrated, from Italy, ensures that you are getting 100% fruit without the industrial tinny leach or the hidden starches of food fraud brands. In 2026, if your tomato paste contains anything other than tomatoes and salt, it's not just paste, it's an industrial byproduct. The 2026 tomato paste landscape has shifted from a simple culinary choice to a high-stakes decision for consumer health. As we have seen with the botulism recalls of First and Last Bakery and the ongoing concerns regarding PFAS and heavy metals and legacy brands like Hunt's and Goya, the industrial model of tomato concentration is showing significant cracks. The primary threat in 2026 is no longer just underprocessing, but a sophisticated form of food fraud, where starches and synthetic dyes like erythrocene are used to mimic the density of premium products. For families dealing with gluten sensitivities or thyroid concerns, these undeclared fillers represent a direct physiological risk that transcends mere poor quality. Ultimately, the 2026 mandate for a safe kitchen is a move toward packaging and source integrity. The data clearly shows that glass-packaged and tube-dispensed pastes, especially those with DOP or organic certifications, suffer from significantly lower chemical leaching than traditional metal cans. To ensure you are getting real tomato solids rather than industrial bulk, the 2026 strategy is to look for the Doppio Concentrato, double concentrated, label, which guarantees a specific level of soluble solids, bricks, without the need for artificial thickeners. By prioritizing transparency and avoiding brands that mask their source with vague product of labels, you can ensure that your foundation for sauces and stews is as clean as it is flavorful.